humanity. Builds empathy, gives authenticity. Your relatable story shows you're trustworthy, that shows your heart. And your friend, don't make it bad. Take the first step, show them why you're friend. Have the courage to be real, don't let your fears steal. Power of your view, honesty is the best deal. And your friend, don't make it bad. Take the first step, show them why you're friend. When you show your heart, that's when loyalty starts. It will set your brain apart. No one can replace your heart. Feels like I'm living in a country song. With everything in life going wrong. Been down and out for far too long. Feels like I'm living in a country song. I thought I'd dance my last with poverty. I'd finally made it out and broken free. Now a pile of debts is staring back at me. Try paying with IOUs from friends and family. Feels like I'm living in a country song. With everything in life going wrong. Been down and out for far too long. Feels like I'm living in a country song. I'm losing my home, family's moving soon. I've got 3 weeks till the 1st of June. No idea where I'm gonna find a room. Credit's trash, the bill collector's suing. Feels like I'm living in a country song. Everything in life going wrong. Been down and out for far too long. Feels like I'm living in a country song. Looks like every door's closing in my face. I'm a one-legged man in a butt-kicking race. Lord, I could use some grace. It's gonna take a miracle to find a place. It's gonna take a miracle to find a place. Feels like I'm living in a country song. With everything in life going wrong. Been down and out for far too long. Feels like I'm living in a country song. I know when destruction comes our way, it's clearing out what doesn't need to stay. There's always gonna be a delay between when we receive and when we pray. But the Lord, I've just got to say, feels like I'm living in a country song. With everything in life going wrong. Been down and out for far too long. Feels like I'm living in a country song. Lord, if this is you preparing ground, please show me there's hope to be found. I'm praying someday my life will rebound. Until then, keep me safe and sound. Feels like I'm living in a country song. With everything in life going wrong. Been down and out for far too long. Feels like I'm living in a country song. Oh, I'm living in a country song. Oh, I'm living in a country song.
Indeed, indeed, that is not the picture you need. Let's get the actual writing and chatting on the screen. There we go. There we go. You did not need to see my face today. No sirree. All right. So to catch everybody up to speed with where we are, welcome to Creating with Love. And Writing and chatting. I'm going to find a new title for this segment because writing and chatting, it just doesn't do it justice. This is an interactive writing stream where the audience decides what the content ends up being. Now, I am a writer, I'm an international speaker, an award-winning author, so I'm the one that's holding the pen, technically, but you guys are deciding the direction it goes. Pretty much every crazy thing in this book is because of you. We have guitarists and monkeys in this book because we have guitarists who love monkeys in the stream. So whatever you want, whatever direction you choose to take this, that's where we go. And every stream, I like to start by recapping what we wrote the last time so that everybody's caught up to date and has a chance to trickle in here, get in here, take their seat, and make their first decision. To help give you context before I put any decisions in front of you too. So, chapter 28. Unanswered. Oh, you know what? We need to go to chapter 27. We'll read through that because that's where the team is going to be pulled in to a special mission and we're kind of wrapping things up. Chapter 27, the debrief and the opportunity. Mortis stretched and yawned. He couldn't believe how tired he felt. Despite a week of recovering from the rescue of Hawkeye, he still wasn't quite over it. And he had to get up early today for a meeting with Mike Daniels. I need a full debrief from you, he'd been told over the phone. I'll buy you breakfast. Mortis didn't want to do a debrief, but the lure of breakfast persuaded him. I'll be there, he told Mike. He arrived to the meeting at 8 a.m. sharp. Mike was there and passed him a cup of coffee. Still take it black? Mortis nodded as he gripped the paper cup. Yep. So, Mike didn't waste any time. So tell me about the rescue with Hawkeye. What did you learn? Mortis told him all about the blonde woman. She said her name was Officer Tolsten and that she was with the CIA. I don't know if that's true or not, but Hawkeye seemed to think it was likely. Mike leaned back in his chair. CIA, huh? We suspected something like that, but what you've told me confirms it. What else can you tell me? He described the Russian-speaking men in the white van, the equipment they were pulling out of it, and the way they seemed to take their orders from Tolsten. She was the ringleader? Interesting. I wonder what they were doing there in Mammoth Caves, Mike mused aloud. Not sure. Hawkeye told me they were looking for some kind of map. That's why they grabbed him. Mike sat up straight at that. A map? To what? Mortis shrugged. Hawkeye said some kind of South American bunker and some tunnels where the CIA were running black ops. I don't know much about it. Mike stroked a hand across his chin. Do you think Hawkeye can help us secure that map? Mortis frowned. You'd have to ask him. I can't tell you much more than what I already did. Mike nodded. His eyes narrowed a bit. I want you to arrange a meeting for me with Hawkeye. Why don't you ask Officer Jacobs? Mortis suggested. Officer who? Mike asked, raising an eyebrow. Hey, Linda! Officer Jacobs. He's the military intelligence officer that forced Tolsten to let Hawkeye and the rest of us go, Mortis explained. Mike leaned forward. Is that a fact? Mortis nodded. At least that's who he said he was. Mike leaned back in his seat again and looked up at the ceiling for a moment before looking back at Mortis. Thanks for the information. Let's say glanced, just so we stop being repetitive. That's the kind of thing you notice when you're reading it back to yourself. It's slightly annoying. Mortis stood up to leave, but Mike gestured him back down, pulling out a large manila packet from his briefcase. We've got a special request for you. Mortis sat back down. A request? Hey, it's Malachi. Good to see you, my man. Mike nodded. We'd like to recruit you to be part of a special operations unit. You and your team. Mortis's eyebrows rose. Me and my team? You mean the guys from the stream? Mike nodded again. Yes. And we'll be happy to pay you for your assistance. Mortis sighed. More money would sure come in handy. But did he really want to be a tool of the military? Isn't that why he gotten out? I don't know, man, he started to say, when Mike cut him off by sliding across the table a single sheet of paper with a dollar sign in bold on it. Mortis whistled. Shh. That's a lot of money. Mike held his eyes. It's a lot of risk we're asking you and your team to take on. Are you willing? Mortis hesitated. What all are you expecting us to do? Assuming we say yes. Now, there's chapter 28, unanswered questions. And this font is really small, so I'm going to go ahead and highlight everything. Kick it back up to 16 so it's not so hard for you guys to read along with me. And then we'll get along. Get along, get along, get along. Chapter 28, unanswered questions. Officer Tolsten watched as Hawkeye got away with his two friends. Jacobs, a man she'd known only as Reuben up until this moment, hauled her to her feet and marched her to the van. He was not gentle about it. Are you going to leave DeVries down there in the dark? She asked. She hated the little weasel of a man as much as anyone, but she needed him. She couldn't afford to let him get left behind. That guy? Don't worry about him. I'll make sure he gets exactly what he deserves, was Jacob's sole response to her question. He's an essential part of our case, she said, hoping to get Jacobs to at least listen. We can't take down the smuggling ring without him. Smuggling ring? He asked, the surprise in his voice clear. She nodded. Yes, it's an international operation. That's why we were tapping into the Russians. Jacob studied her face, arms crossed. Hawkeye told me what the map led to. She swallowed, working hard to keep her face neutral as she thought of what to say to that. It's not what he thinks. Those tunnels, that base, those aren't ours. I mean, we used them, but we didn't make them. Jacob said nothing in response to that, simply continuing to give her that long, hard stare. It was difficult for her to guess what he was thinking, so she continued. He nearly ruined our operation. We'd been working for decades to infiltrate the group that did create them so we could bust them. What Hawkeye exposed nearly created an international incident. He's a dangerous man. Jacobs kept his mouth shut. She couldn't tell if he believed her or not, but at least he was listening. For now. That map has to be retrieved. It's the only one we've got. And without it, we can't get the leverage we need to finish the job we started. It's a matter of national security. His eyebrow raised. Is it? Really? Why didn't the CIA communicate that to military intelligence? She rolled her eyes. You know bureaucracies. Nobody's sharing information with anyone. I agree that it's stupid and counterproductive, but it's how these things work. Jacobs turned her toward the cave entrance. Gosh, I don't know where that cough come from. Jacobs turned her toward the cave entrance. You can tell my superiors all about it when we get back to the base. In the meanwhile, you'll be enjoying the finest of holding cells until I can get some confirmation of your story. Her heart raced at the thought of it. You can't do that. We're on a very tight window for getting that map back. Please, you've got to help me. People could die if you don't. Okay, so here's where we're at. Now we have a question. Is Tolsten really CIA? Let's poll everybody and decide. I know 4 of you are watching, so I better see some answers coming. Okay, we got at least one vote for a really yes. All right, we got 2 votes. That'll do. We are 100% CIA. Hey, does Officer Jacobs believe she's CIA? I guess I could put that into a poll format. Well, I'm glad you got a nap. You were probably up late, Cal, considering how long it took me to get stuff to you. Yeah, I'm betting on the he's not sure. He's kind of pegging on the she's probably not, but he's not sure. He's got just enough plausible doubt to think that maybe she is. He's not going to do too much. Oh, yeah, here we go. Okay. So she is definitely CIA. Now we need to figure out what role the Russians are playing in all this. We know that the other guys are Russian. I guess we can ask, is Tolsten corrupt? Maybe she's a corrupt CIA officer. Maybe she's actually working with the Russians, but still under the CIA's brand. Paid actors from Wisconsin, I might add. Okay, so she's either. Oh, we got a split vote here. We're gonna need help. Okay, so yes, she's a corrupt CIA. Wins it. Yeah, yeah, they're actually all cheeseheads. Yes. Oh, I forgot that I'd written some of this anyway. Officer Jacobs didn't slow down. He continued marching her toward the van. We can sort it out at the station, miss. She tried to force herself to stop the feeling of panic rising up in her gut. These Russians did not play around, and she didn't want to find out what they'd do with her if they knew she'd failed in her assignment. I have to go to the bathroom, she told him. I'll give you 5 minutes, Jacob said. I'll find you a nice bush and you can go there. Quite the gentleman, aren't you? She said sarcastically. He mock bowed at the waist. Ever at your service. Now move it. Tolsten stumbled forward, hoping that the passive integrated transponder hidden in her belt would allow the CIA to find her before this got too far. And if they didn't, could she find an opening to get away long enough for it to matter? If Jacobs left DeVries in that hole, the CIA might retrieve him before she could get from him the information she needed. That wouldn't sit well with her new employers. Money and power. Yep, I can see it. She pretended to stumble and fall, forcing Jacobs to slow down. Hoping. I appreciate that, Cal. Yeah, it took me like forever, because it was like take after take after take after take that just wasn't right. I'm picky on the vocals. I don't want to sound like I got a cattail stumbled on me. Or like I tripped on a cattail or something. Alright. That gives us enough of her. We know what's going on there. Or at least we have some idea of what's going on there. Now it's time. Let's go back. We have an option. So, you guys are getting the full experience today. Nice. No, I watched the whole thing, Cal. It was great. I am sorry I missed it because I had 10 a.m. my time stuck in my head and I didn't realize the time had been shifted up an hour, but it makes sense why you did. I think it would be really neat to put together that channel app where we can like plug in who's doing what at what time so we don't step all over each other's toes. Let's see. Whose point of view for the new chopper? We can do DeVries. We can go back to Delilah. We're going to pick on some of our bad girls and boys of this. We could also do... we've got the detective. our D's today. D. Thank you. I appreciate that. DeVries, Delilah the detective, or let's see, or we can pick one of our regular crew, and then I'll let you shout it out in chat. But I was thinking we should probably pick through the story from the perspective of the quote-unquote bad guys of the story. Bad guys and gals. So we're getting to flesh out their perspectives. A little bit here in the layer. Oh, yeah. Question becomes, yeah, we got a three-way split there. You know, I think I'll be the tiebreaker, I guess. I think we've only got the three of y'all, because Ubi's on the phone, so he's not technically available. Alright. We had a three-way split, so we'll start at the top with DeVries. And I need to shrink this down just a little bit so I can get that menu coming up for me. Because I need to remember where I'm at numbering wise. Shoot. This chest crap is starting. I hate it when it goes from a sinus drainage to a chest congestion issue. DeVries in the dark. There we go. Apple peach. Nice. I have already done laundry for the day. You guys would be proud of me. I have clean clothes to wear. Hooray. Oh, yeah. Oh. DeVries in the dark. So that's what we'll name it. And now we get to make some decisions. What has DeVries been doing? I want you guys to type this in chat. What has DeVries been doing in the dark? Give me some ideas and some suggestions for what we've had old DeVries doing down there. Since he's been abandoned by Tolsten. Laundry yesterday, yeah. I would have done it yesterday, but then I just got home and sort of vegged out. Actually had a bit of a rough day. Rough start to the day anyway, yesterday. I had taken some initiative and got pulled in for a conversation with my new boss, so about my initiatives and how she did not really appreciate them. So yeah, that was the start to my day. Not the greatest, but you know what, it's led me to think through some things and create a new strategy to move forward that I think maybe will work even better than my original plan. So it'll all work. It'll work out. It has been a very, very long time. When Sven approached DeVries, he began to freak out. Yeah, it's true. I think his mind is going a mile a minute trying to figure out how to turn this situation into advantage. I think you're right. DeVries is very much the guy who, how in the world can I get on top of this? He's very much, let's go back to where we left him. Let's see. DeVries' dilemma. DeVries could taste copper in his mouth when he came to. She tamed him. He couldn't believe it. He'd been surprised when the CIA approached him, offering him a plea deal if he'd agree to become a confidential informant when the whole thing went down with Hawkeye. He'd been sure he was about to lose everything and spend hard time in lockup. Instead, he got knocked down a peg in rankings, but was allowed to keep his pension, his benefits, and his dignity as long as he kept the CIA happy. The CIA even helped him pin the whole thing on Hawkeye, as long as he agreed to help them recover the map and keep their questions about the military operations answered. DeVries was close to getting the map from the security officer's command post, but then it was handed off to someone in NCIS, Naval Criminal Investigation Services. It was out of his hands, or so he thought. Tolsten didn't let it go. She told him, investigate, find out what they've done with it, and our people will put together a plan to get it back. It never occurred to him to ask why the CIA was interested in the map. DeVries didn't care. He was just grateful for the ability to keep his neck out of the chopping block. And if Hawkeye got screwed in the process, that was just the cherry on his ice cream cake. It also didn't occur to him to ask why the CIA couldn't just talk to the military and get it from them. As long as it benefited him, that was all that mattered. He made a move to stand up and ended up smashing his nose on a nearby crevice. Son of a bitch! His blood trickled from his nose, but with his hands tied behind his back, there wasn't a lot he could do about it. I swear I will get her back for that, he thought. Maybe a few of those Russians would be interested in knowing her real identity. He smirked at the thought of what they might do to her once they found out. She didn't treat anyone around her very well, and he was fairly certain nobody else liked her either. His fantasies about that came to an abrupt halt, though. Oh, I forgot to. When a flashlight shone in his eyes, one of Tolsten's blonde Russians stood there. He told the men in Russian, Hawkeye's escaped. He broke loose from his ties and got me. Get me loose and get some help. The man stared down at DeVries and crossed his arms over his chest. When he spoke, it was in perfect English. Oh, not a new guitar, it's a new effects unit. Well, that's pretty sweet. Oh, hey, Jeff. Good to see you. Nice. DeVries felt his. I don't think so, DeVries. I've been waiting a while to get you alone. You and I are going to have a talk. DeVries felt his stomach drop. Who the heck are you? The man shook his head. You'll get answers to your questions when I get answers to mine. DeVries didn't like that. I'll scream. The man chuckled. I wouldn't do that if I were you. All it takes from me is a single word in Russian and I can make you disappear. For good. DeVries scowled. What do you want from me? The man nodded. There you go. That's the weasel of a man I've come to know and loathe. He took a seat on a nearby rock just out of DeVries' grasp. Why does the CIA want Hawkeye? DeVries swallowed. I don't know and I don't care. The man frowned. I think you do know. And if you want to make it out of this place alive, you're going to care. A lot. DeVries clenched a fist, but with his hands and feet bound, he was helpless. Hawkeye's got access to a map they need. The man nodded. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. What does the map lead to? Why do they need it? DeVries shrugged. I don't know. The man looked down at him for a moment, allowing the silence of the place to fill the air, then flicked off his flashlight. I guess we don't need you, then. DeVries panicked at the thought of being abandoned down there in the dark. You're going to leave me here? The man snorted. Your buddies will be back soon to get you. I'm sure they'll take good care of you. You leave me and I'll tell Tolsten about you, DeVries threatened. You'll be lucky to survive what she does. The man grinned. You go right on ahead, weasel boy. Let her know you spilled the beans about what she's after. I'm sure that'll make her real happy. He paused for a moment. No, I've got an idea. Why don't you and I tell her together? What do you think about that, DeVries? DeVries hadn't expected that. You wouldn't dare. The man shrugged. Try me. DeVries frowned. The map leads to a hidden base of operations. I don't know exactly what all they were doing with it, but they were using the tunnels connected to it to smuggle drugs in and out of the area. That's all I know. The man nodded. Good to know. Here's the deal, DeVries. You agree to keep me informed of what you find out, and you might, just might, make it out of this without a full court-martial for treasonous acts against the United States. DeVries swallowed hard. I haven't betrayed my country. Sure, I did some illegal stuff. The man cut him off. You partnered with a foreign enemy to aid and abet them in carrying out operations that undermined national security. That's treason, pal. Any way you spell it. Oh man, that cop. And treason comes with the death penalty. Think about that. DeVries felt a cold chill trickle down his spine as the flashlight clicked off and the man's footsteps faded into the distance. Okay, so that's where we left DeVries, so let's go pick him back up, now that we have a better idea. Exactly. Okay, so here's our thing. What is Dastardly DeVries going to pull out of his... what rabbit is DeVries going to pull out of his little magic hat that gets him out of this? That's what we need to decide. I agree. It would be evil. It would be, kind of, that's something we could do is arrange for poetic justice for DeVries. Now, DeVries literally threw Hawkeye under the bus solely for the reason of reporting the truth. So we need to make sure that his justice that he's going to receive fits the crime. Oh, yeah. No worries, Cal. That explains why DeVries is necessary. He's confirmation that the map is genuine. Interesting. Okay, that makes sense. That's why he's necessary. What do you think about that, guys? Yeah. we're not going to give him a good sympathetic reason. It's all about the bank, man. All about the bank. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's got to get lured into some kind of trap, right? I think actually he needs to be blamed for something that he didn't actually do, so that he ends up taking the fall, maybe for Tolsten, since he's the one who made Hawkeye take the fall for him. And that would leave Tolsten as our bigger baddie for later adventures. Well, yeah, and there's a reason for that. They've never been the good guys. Not washed out. Disgraced. Don't run out of socks. This is true. It is bad news to run out of socks. Cal, great tragedies have happened because people ran out of socks. Actually, on a more serious note, if you're ever giving help to the homeless, dry socks are something they value highly. Clean, dry socks. For good reason. They do a lot of walking, and moisture tears their feet up. All right. Die. Dalton Bitney, who keeps singing Disney songs, but always gets them wrong. All right. You have everything they need and want. They're not going to want to lose that. That's true. They're not going to want to lose that. I don't know. I personally want to lose that, right? Oh, thank you. Thank you, Slink, as much. Definitely never run out of underwear. Doing the commander thing isn't your vibe. Well, that's good to know, Malachi. Oh, my goodness. All right. Oh, my goodness. Goodness gracious. Okay. Ooh, maple syrup season. Very nice. Well, they opened up fishing today at the lakes, but it's raining, so nobody's doing any fishing today. Oh, there's a turn. Let's see. So let's read through what we've got written before we close out for today. Devries in the dark. Treason. That charge weighed on his mind as he lay there in the dark, listening intently to try and figure out what to do next. The one thing he still had going for him, the one thing that gave him hope, was the tracking GPS in his belt. It carried a strong enough signal that even through the thick cave walls it could be picked up, and the CIA, he knew, had a vested interest in protecting his assets, at least for the moment. He could identify the map and make sure it was the right one when they did find it. They didn't trust Hawkeye to tell them the truth about that, but DeVries was their man as long as their paychecks kept hitting his bank. But if someone else found him before the CIA did, would that even matter? As much as he hated Tolsten, he found himself listening for her voice, hoping against hope that she would come back his direction or that someone, anyone from the CIA would arrive. If Jacobs really was military intelligence, that was bad news. It meant their operation was exposed and the military was onto them. Then they'd likely never get that map. A thought crossed his mind and a smile touched his lips for the first time. The military would still need his help identifying the map. As far as the military was concerned, Hawkeye was a disgraced military vet. There was no way they would trust his testimony alone. They'd need someone to corroborate his story. DeVries was the only other person who could do that. He was the only other person present when Hawkeye found the map and the only person who could authenticate it. He breathed a little easier once he thought of that. They wouldn't dare leave him rot down here in the caves. They needed him. His confidence in his own value restored, he began feeling around for something he could use to get those zip ties off his wrists. come back to his direction you left out to? Oh, let's see. Where? It took him a while to find a protrusion from the surface, sturdy and sharp enough to use, but he eventually cut through the plastic and freed his hands. It felt good. He was just sitting up when he heard 5 sets of boots on the ground. Okay, where? How far up? Hoping against hope that she would come back his direction? No, I didn't leave out anything. If that's the one you're talking about. You technically don't need a, grammatically speaking, you don't have to have an in or a to in that case, if this is the area you're talking about. Took him a while. It felt good. He was just sitting up. Well, you don't have to clarify that, actually. She would come back his direction is fine. Grammatically speaking, that is a correct sentence. There's nothing missing there. But thank you guys. There are times when I do make grammatical errors, as we've seen on camera. Embrace that suck, right? He was just sitting up when he heard 5 sets of boots on the ground approaching his area. He began crying out in Russian. "Thank goodness you're here, comrades! Come, we must get away from this place." One of them answered back in Russian, "I do not think we are going to be helping you go anywhere. We know who you are, DeVries. We know what you've done. And if not for the map, you would be a dead man." Dum, dum, dum. And that is just in time for us to close out the stream. Now, do you guys have anything you would like to promote for yourselves or talk about before we close the stream? We have done a great job. We got a chapter written. We got ourselves prepped up for the next. We know that we're going to be covering, the next person we're going to be covering is Delilah. So I need to make a note of that. Yep. All right, guys. If you guys don't have anything you want to add, I do thank you for showing up and being present with me once again on this mad Saturday. At the end of April, we are headed into May. Can you believe it? We have gotten 29 chapters written. We are on a roll.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Delilah and Seymour. And y'all have a wonderful rest of your evening and your day.